Hey everyone, and welcome to the Daycare podcast, episode 25. This is your host, Mr. Nipples, and this is your other host, Nick. And we
Hey,
are here today with our boy. Shout it out. Go for it.
Derwin Lester.
There we go,
hey!
Mr. Derwin Lester.
Yep.
Still recovering from the swine flu, I hear.
A little bit, feeling a little fluish. Although it turns out I was just kidding.
Oh,
I heard Derwin Lester has a swine flu. Can we get someone on the phone to lock down a base real quick?
No, they did that already. Turns out that joke's only funny the first time.
Yeah, well,
Another
I
one.
heard, I don't know whether or not you've made a decision,
Mm-hmm.
but after the last crossover episode we did,
Mm-hmm.
there is a certain someone that is willing to illustrate the whole swine flu thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to go or if you made a decision, but
Please.
Uh,
I'll put that on
you
our
know-
YouTube so fast.
Maybe. I'm still thinking about it.
he can change names
Um,
if you're worried about that.
That's true.
He can call you Erwin Lester.
I've been called so much worse, so many worse things. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna go with it. I think I told him. Yeah, I think I told him I was gonna do it.
The Grenadiers getting done. J-Dubs?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
That's
He's already agreed
fantastic.
to it. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
fantastic. I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I wish I could draw.
I found a meme, or not a meme, a GIF,
Yeah.
and it's this dude like giving a lap dance to this chick, and then this other guy comes up and like tackles him from the back with like a flying kick, and I said to Joe, I go, "This reminds me of the Grenadier."
Yeah, no, I talked to Mark about it, and I told, honestly, man, I try to keep a little on the wraps, but I told him I would be honored if he included the stupidest thing I've ever done in Charlie Mike comics, because most guys, they've got like heroic war stories, fucking they saved Private Ryan. I just kind of fucked around when I was 22 and
And shut down a division.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. And yeah. But yeah, no, it was yeah, one of those things where like you'll learn the hard way what you don't do really early, and everybody was pretty cool about it in that nothing bad really happened to me.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to keep under wraps, but you shared the story on our show, and now
Yeah.
it's been shared on Backward Veterans Nation.
Oh, I know.
And it was shared when we were on the air on the crossover,
Yeah.
and it was shared when we did the show with Ms. Nevada.
Oh, I don't know, it was on that show.
She laughed so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I stopped trying to. I'm not trying to keep that so under wraps. I wasn't sure if I was going to have Mark do the comic book or not. But,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because that's going to hit a whole lot more people.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, when there's a story like that out, you got to own it, right? And there's nothing but good publicity out of it. So,
True.
fuck it.
Very true.
Yeah,
And if Pete were to do it in his comic,
Yeah.
can you imagine? People wouldn't even believe it's true.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, it's yeah, it's a pretty hard to believe story. We have talked about where I'll just tell him other stories I did as a private, and then he would just illustrate them, but Sergeant Lowe has to do it from from Sergeant Lowe having to deal with a shitty private perspective.
Yeah. I got some stories for him if he ever wants them.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think he wants my insanity.
Well, I mean,
But see, I was artillery, so it makes it harder to transfer over.
you never know. You gotta ask.
So before we get into the insanity that is zombies,
Yeah.
there's two subjects that we got to cover.
What's up?
First, I hit a milestone today.
What'd you do?
On December 31st of 2017, I was 465 pounds.
Jesus, God in heaven.
This morning, I hit 265 pounds.
Look at you.
That's 200 pounds in less than 2 years.
That's
quite
a
the cut.
person.
That is a person.
Good for you, man. I'm excited for you. That's an amazing accomplishment.
And then I did 24 miles today, which means tomorrow I'll be about 2 more pounds lighter.
There you go. Now I get why you've been walking all over creation like Moses in the desert.
But yeah, plus pushing a stroller and wearing a pack, and
Sure.
so yeah, that increases the calories burned. Second, my sister's a vegetarian. Okay.
Sure.
And she eats things like Doritos and uses ranch dressing and eats bread.
Sure.
And, you know, because she'll like go to Subway and get a vegetarian sandwich. There's
Sure.
a problem. What
that?
does bread and Doritos and animal crackers all have in common? What's the one ingredient?
Carbohydrates.
Yeah, but which carbohydrate in particular that's
I have
not
no
made
idea.
from flour?
I have no idea.
It's made from beets or canes.
I have no idea.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Beets or cane.
Sugar?
There
Gluten?
you go.
Okay.
Now they use crystallized sugar. Do you know how they
Nope.
make crystallized sugar?
No idea.
An 80-20 mix of 80% beef, 20% pork bone. Now, 80-20 mix, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's another group of people that shouldn't be eating the 20%?
Vegans?
Muslims.
Oh, shit.
And you know damn well they're going to Walmart buying bread.
Yeah, there should probably be like a sticker on there or something.
No, because it's well known that crystallized sugar is made with bone ash.
I mean,
So you're going to put a
know
sticker on 90% of the products in Walmart?
I mean, you know, if there's a high Muslim population in the air, like if it's Dearborn, Michigan, I probably would.
Michigan.
I mean, that's a pretty high Muslim populated area,
Oh.
and they, I know, like for the Jews, a lot of the time, if something's not like kosher or whatever, they'll say, "Oh, well, this is kosher and this is not kosher." But that's kind of like in the Jewish boroughs in New York City.
Exactly. Now, outside of a few products at Walmart,
Yeah.
generally the kosher Jews do not shop at Walmart.
Yeah, that's probably true. They probably stick to their like Jewish delis and things.
But you know, when it comes to the Jewish population, only about 40% of them are kosher.
Oh, I did not know that.
So, it's really hard to be kosher. Do you know how hard it is to be kosher? You have to have 2 fridges. You essentially have to have 2 kitchens.
I have a hard time just not eating cookies. I don't think I can do kosher, man. It's like
Very fair.
I just got out of the army like 4 weeks ago, and I'm like, well, fuck, I am never doing a PT test ever again. Cookies are delicious. But then I sit in my chair all day at work, and I just notice I'm like, oh, I'm just getting fatter, and my clothes are getting tighter, and maybe you should go for a walk, fat ass. And then I go for a walk.
Here's what's happening.
What's that?
I lost the weight. It has to show up somewhere.
It shows up on me, yeah. Yeah,
when
no,
you
also,
die,
It's a
we're going to
classic
make up a
weight transfer.
hilarious story about it. And we're going to share it on the show.
I mean, yeah, if you guys want to have a eulogy for me on Daycare, that'd be awesome. Hopefully, like 6 decades from now, when you guys are like your own YouTube, like, sensational phenomenon thing or whatever.
Well, hopefully by then we'll be on iTunes if, you know, Mr. Nipples ever gets down to it.
There you go.
Might be a little bit longer than that. I'm still working on
There
it.
you-
Don't worry about it. It's happening. Eventually.
I mean, it's a lot of like logistical stuff, like just recording audio and making it sound good, like with all these audiobooks you've been listening to of mine, right?
Yep.
I recorded one of my own, of one of my own stories, and put it on my YouTube channel, right?
Yep.
And it took me a long time to figure out how to make it sound okay. And then I blended the audio of 2 other actors in the same piece, and that sounds okay, right? Like Like it sounds like you don't hear a bunch of background noise, but it had to go second by second and check for noise and shit. And after that, I was like, you know what? Jason does such a better job of this than I do. Why am I fucking around with this?
Or lives. I don't do too much audio auditing. It was mainly just in the first few episodes, and occasionally I have to balance audio
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there you go.
while it's live. That's why I'm quiet a lot of the times, is I'm just trying to listen, so I can
Yeah.
hear if
Oh,
audio's
yeah.
messing up.
So
So,
I heard a few more of your books since last time we were on. In fact, I've heard almost your entire, all of them now, pretty much.
I think you've gone through most of my back catalog.
Except for
yes.
the Forever Sleep. I haven't done that one yet.
Got it.
I need to get that one, but I'm on a 23-hour book right now, so it's gonna have to
I
wait.
understand. The Forever Sleep is best summarized as if Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino was in the Matrix movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mr. Nipples and I were talking before the show, and I
Sure.
know I brought this up to you before.
Yes.
And then our buddy fucker, the MP, got involved with the conversation,
Okay.
and we're trying to figure out how in the I can't remember which one it was with the zombies. Which book was that with the zombies?
There's 4 of them.
Okay, yeah.
The
Yeah,
long
that's right.
one,
Long
was
one
it-
is a thin slice of life.
The Thin Line of Life is a long one. To Russia with Zombies is the Russian one.
That was good.
Yeah. A Slice of Death was 8 years after the zombie war was over.
Yeah. See, I have an issue with that because
Talk to me, Goose.
everything is like, they're talking about the zombie thing,
Yeah.
but most of North America would have been uninhabitable due to the meltdown of the reactors.
I mean, yeah. I did not think that deep into it, but
And
Yeah,
the water
no.
plants would have gone down, and all
Yeah.
the sewage would have backed into the water supply, and fires would have run rampant, and all the bridges would have collapsed.
and that is a very fair critique. Yeah, no, I really thought that deep into it. The whole crux of that story is kind of if like you survived and then you were like about to retire and then you found out your ex-wife was being held captive and you had to go rescue her, and this bitch is
Why?
the last person you want to ever see.
I wouldn't have rescued her. My ex-wife,
mean-
I got a story for you with my ex-wife. This
Sure.
bitch took half of absolutely everything I owned.
This man got purely bamboozled. Let me tell you something.
I went
is
home to see
unfortunate.
my parents, took the kids with, right?
Sure.
Came back. She had moved out with her boyfriend and taken
Oh, boy.
literally half of everything I owned.
Just
She
cut it
took
down the middle, huh?
The lid and the filter out of my Brita picture.
She only took the banana peels.
She took the batteries out of the remote and took the little rubbery button parts, but left the rest of the remote.
I am so glad I didn't get married on active duty.
She took the box spring from my bed.
That's intense. That is intense.
She took 2 of the 4 chairs from my dining room table.
She really was going for that half of all your stuff thing.
She took my toilet seat and left the lid.
She shaved the cat.
Only half the cat, though.
She cut all my shoes in half down the middle.
No, I couldn't find my shoes. They were gone.
That would be funny if you
Half my
had
clothes were gone. Half my comic books disappeared.
like she didn't take your right shoe. You had a right and left shoe, but she cut them in half, and she
took
left
a
you
half
half.
of each.
Took a half of
Ugh.
each. Like that is just vindictive. I understand.
But yeah, I never would have saved that bitch. No chance in
Yeah.
hell.
Well, some people. But see, with this couple here, they broke up because of a miscarriage,
Yeah.
and that was more,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Like if I was in I knew friends that broke up because of a miscarriage,
We're
and
almost done. Yeah, I get it.
and that's something where like it's not really anybody's fault, but this doesn't really work. But then you still love her, but then you're like, oh, I gotta save her. I really don't want to, but I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. I do. Yeah. It's one of those things.
It's just one of those things, man. Was there
Yep.
another zombie book you were asking about, or was it that one?
Well, there's that one, and then there's the one where they're on the northern peninsula of Michigan.
Oh yeah,
And
that was Thin Line.
yeah, that was holy shit.
What?
That whole book just completely fucks with your head.
Yeah.
And then I'm going, how in the fuck has this guy been on this peninsula now for this long and not gotten a goddamn promotion?
Oh, when when they're
He's running missions like crazy. There's a general
yeah,
sitting there, and he hasn't been
yeah.
promoted.
I mean, wait till Volume 2 comes out.
But that's when a captain stops going, you know what? I'm not doing this shit no more.
Yeah. Well, they're feeding his wife and they're feeding his kids, and while they're safe and happy on the island, so he's running for supplies.
But if he was active duty and the world wasn't ending, they would have been feeding his wife and feeding his kids and keeping them in housing.
I mean, that's true, but now he's got an extra incentive to play ball, and he
Yeah,
gets
but
to
this
be
dude would have been, with the shit he did, he would have been awarded, like, the Silver Star several
Oh
times
yeah.
over.
If you survive the zombie war, if you survive the apocalypse event, everyone's getting silver stars.
This motherfucker would have been getting the Medal of Honor for the shit he did.
Oh yeah. Wait until Volume 2 comes out.
He would have been like the Audie Murphy of the zombie apocalypse.
Oh yeah. See, he was my character, right? Dad wrote the McAllister, the good old boy from Kentucky. That was my dad's character.
Mm.
And Linton was my character, kind of my main character, but we had like other side characters and stuff. And but yeah, so those were kind of like if I ever get this, and Winston Carmichael's the one I did the most with in the future. He's the one I took off and developed further. But if my goal one day is to turn the Thin Line of Life into an animated series on Amazon.
Yeah. Well,
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah.
there's a former writer that I put you in touch with. He used to write for Mad TV. He's done a couple movies, and he's written and been involved in the making of a few movies that are on Netflix. And hopefully you two can get together and make a series for Netflix out of this shit.
Now, who is this guy you talking about?
Guy Stevenson, I think is his name. I put you in touch with him, didn't I?
I don't think so.
No, I put Pete in touch with him. Shit.
Oh yeah. That's all
Pete,
right.
Pete was talking about Mad TV, and I told him about your book. I told him to check out your book.
That's all right. I'm pretty tight with Pete, so I'm sure Pete will slip the information my way. Hi, Pete.
Yeah, if Guy can get it, like, I don't know if you ever saw The Last Heist.
I don't think so. No.
Well, it's a Netflix original, and he did that. He worked with some actual former ops guys to make that movie. But yeah, he used to write for Mad TV. He's met the lady that did Miss Swan, and
oh yeah.
And look what I can do! Look what I can do! Look what I can do!
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he used to work with all them. So, like, you suck.
Sounds like he's pretty awesome.
He is.
Yeah.
I've got a friend buried out there in California, and he's gone out and seen him every Memorial Day for me and put a pack of smokes on his headstone for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's good people.
Sounds like good people.
We don't see politically, but he's good people.
I mean, that's all right.
Yep, that's the great thing about this nation.
Yeah, and a lot of that's kind of what I try to promote with Divided by Zero and the organization that we're kind of slowly building, is that like your politics are kind of the shallowest part of you, but what really matters is your level of talent and really just how easy you are to work with as a person.
Actually, your ear's the shallowest part of you.
Your what?
Your ear.
I mean, yeah, like physically speaking. I'm talking like like your emotional, personal makeup. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Oh my God, that dude. So okay, so Friday night, my sister calls me and she's like, "Listen, dude, I've got an extra box seat to see Kiss. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Obviously." And I go there, and I am 30 feet from the stage. Yeah, I see Paul Stanley fly through the air like a Greek god on a wire, right to the center of the crowd on a platform that appears out of nowhere.
That's fucking dope.
Oh my God! And you would not believe these guys are 70. You would not believe it.
He
You know,
flies through the air on his with his walker.
no, fuck, dude, I look at the stairs with deep suspicion and mistrust. I'm 32. This guy is a fucking acrobatic genius, and they don't miss a beat. Their music is spot on. Gene Simmons is spitting fire and spitting blood, and there is just flames and lasers and confetti everywhere. It is a borderline.
I'm gonna restart the call here, ladies and gentlemen. Give me 1 second now.
Gosh.
Howdy.
He sings that fucking.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Huh?
I can hear you now.
Okay, word. I had to leave and rejoin real quick.
Who's that?
Is me.
No. What's his name? He's got that.
That dreadlocks make weirdo? Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm gonna look him up real quick while we're talking. This guy is doing an album with Ozzy. They're gonna go on tour together.
What's that?
He's gonna do an album with Ozzy, and they're gonna go on fucking tour together.
I mean, I didn't know Ozzy was still like. Ozzy's somebody who I could see having a walker. That I remember the Osbournes, and that guy was not getting around that great.
Well, they changed his meds, and apparently he's doing better now.
There you go. The '80s were not kind to him.
The 70s weren't either.
There you go.
That weren't kind to him, to be honest.
Probably the cocaine.
Yeah,
Well,
I think the cocaine helped.
Apparently the docs had him on a bunch of stuff that were interacting with each other.
Shit.
And he was about, if he wasn't careful, he was going to end up like Michael Jackson and Heath Ledger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'll do it.
I don't know. I'll look up this guy.
I'm glad Ozzy's not dead.
Doing an
Oh, man.
All right, let's keep talking while I figure this out.
Sure. I want to thank you, actually, because with the short few weeks I've known you, man, not only have you listened to all of my books, but you've also made a couple of cool things happen for me, right? Just by asking questions, right? Like with that asking Mark Baker about me being a part of Charlie Mike. That I probably wouldn't have done that without you. So and you going on a bunch of shows and talking about Thin Line, that sort of stuff that was very, very generous of you. It was very kind. I just want to say thank you on the air, publicly.
Oh, when I was on Friday Night Debauchery, did you get any hits off that?
No, but it was fun just to drink whiskey and write and listen to you guys talk.
I was hoping that you'd get at least a few hits.
I got a hit off of you pimping the books out on the Facebook page, I think.
Okay.
And somebody hit me up, and then I talked to some guy, and then he downloaded Thin Line or something.
Oh, do you know who that was? That was Buddy Fucker. That's our MP fucker.
Who is this person you're talking about?
He's one of my new admins. He's we call him Buddy Fucker because he's an MP.
Got it. Okay. All right. I did not know that. He said he was still in, and he.
Yeah, he's still in. In fact, he worked with Miss Nevada. That's how we got her on the show.
Okay.
I gotta ask the wife who this guy is real quick. Julie, who's that singer that Ella loves with the dreadlocks and the grill? Who's that singer that she loves with the dreadlocks and the grill and he looks like he's
Is it
got that-
Post Malone?
Yes, Post Malone.
Oh, you're talking about Posty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's doing an album with freaking Ozzy.
Is he really?
Yes.
That's
I
gonna be
mean-
fucking dope.
Yeah.
Apparently they're gonna be doing tour together and fucking weird shit.
That sounds
Because
great.
their music styles are so like
I'm
opposite.
Yeah,
That sounds pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited for that, actually.
same.
Yeah.
I just like different, new, weird shit.
Well, I do too. I mean, that's how Korn came about. But
That's true. That is true. I mean, and kind of. But anyway, no. I also too. I might be doing something with Private Murphy in the Liberation of Earth universe. Me.
oh shit, that is outstanding.
There's nothing official yet. I haven't even written a draft yet, so I'm gonna write a draft and send it to Mr. Baker and see what he thinks, get his feedback on it. And if it doesn't work, I mean, I got an idea that might work.
Yeah,
But also,
you never
too,
know.
that would not have come about without you, because.
You know what? I
You-
ask stupid questions. It's my job.
But you asked me that question, and then I told Mark Baker about it. He goes, "Wait, you would write my character in your book? That's amazing." And so I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And I've kind of been in a space lately where I'm just saying like yes to things.
Well, that's a good
And-
thing.
Yeah, and like for example, and this is a segue to promote my new work actually, but there is a guy I'm working with now named Nick Oakes, and Nick Oakes never was never in the military, but he writes like he was.
Oh, that's outstanding.
He writes military science fiction. He's only off by like a hair, right? Like, and that's only because I've been inside and I know what it looks like.
Yeah,
But the kid is, I say kid, he's 26.
he's a kid.
Yeah. Well, no, he's. But anyway, regardless, he writes amazing stuff, and so I showed him Liberation. Right, I kind of did with him what I did with you. I just kind of said, "Hey, you want an audiobook? You want another one? You want another one? You want another one?" And he listened to Liberation, and he goes, "Oh, well, I kind of wondered if the amphibites were real." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I kind of read the story, and I didn't. There's no real proof saying they are real, so I wonder
Yeah.
if it's all a scam." And I'm like, "Oh, you should write that story. I kind of want to read it."
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, are they actually real? I mean, now, are the
Well-
amphibites the squids?
Different.
Okay.
Those are two different things.
I'm just checking because I keep going, what the fuck are these amphibites?
Yeah. The squids are more of a invasion of the body snatchers type creatures from the
Okay.
novel When They Come For You. But anyway, so Nick wrote this story, and he answers that question if they're real or not, right? So how we did that was he wrote a draft, and then I rewrote his draft, and then he rewrote my draft, and then we ran through the edit, and then we hit print, and now it's our first collaboration, and it's up right now.
Well, shit.
Yeah, and I just made a deal to have it recorded with Mr. Jason Spranger, and it'll be out whenever he does it. Probably in the next 60 days. The man's got a lot going on.
Well,
But
yeah, he's got that
it's-
perfect voice. I mean,
Yeah. No, he's. I asked him the other day if he knows a female voice actress because we've got one of our writers. She wrote the great American novel on the first try. Right. And all it is a coming of age story of two teenage girls on a road trip out east. Right. That sounds like something that me as a 32-year-old Army vet should think is okay, but not great. It fucking blew my mind, right? It is a gorgeous piece of narrative. It is the most outstanding thing I've read. I have been working with this girl for years, and I had no idea the level of talent I was working next towards. And the only thing that is remotely in the same conversation of mine is the liberation of Earth. Everything else I've written, she blows far out of the water, right? And that's not to put my whole work down, that's to raise hers up.
Wow.
But I say all that because we're looking to publish it next year, and we need a voice actress. And I talked to Jason, and I was like, listen, your voice is the most masculine sound that the good Lord has seen fit to vibrate human vocal cords. So I don't know if you're going to work with the story on two teenage girls on their coming of age. You know, it's going to sound like their dad was telling the story about them.
Yeah.
You know, and which he does a great job with women in a very masculine story.
He does.
Like
He does.
I buy it, but you know, it kind of needs an all-around feminine feel to it, and that is not Jason at all.
No.
Right? Like I kind of want him to narrate my life and then slowly talk me to sleep, right? And tell me everything's going to be okay and all my problems are over, right? Because I'll believe it coming from him. But anyway, so the story is called, it is the first of what might be a 10-part anthology series called Tales of a Liberated Earth. This is number 1, called Hidden in Plain Lies. And it asks the question, are the amphibites real? And to find the answer, well, you got to buy it. So, but that is our latest work.
So,
and, talk to me.
I got to put this out there.
What's up?
So, Mr. Nipples, our guest tonight has got to be some kind of sexual deviant, okay?
Why is that?
Because he's always talking about freaky sex in his books, but he doesn't actually get into it, so that you know that he's like ashamed of the fact that he's talking about it. Because in one book, you know, he's talking about how he likes this dude is like into it with his wife, and he likes how she handcuffs him to the bed, and she's.
It's always like married couples too that do like the freaky weird shit.
And he's talking about this freaky shit, but he won't actually talk about the freaky shit. He like hints at it, nudges around it, like he's ashamed to talk about it.
Oh, it's not ashamed. It's just the classy way of going about business, sir.
I mean,
But see, that makes me think that you're some kind of sexual deviant.
I would wholeheartedly disagree. And not only because we are alive and this is the internet and that shit is forever. No, sir. I would say that I wrote most of those stories. Most of the stuff you listen to mine, I wrote probably before the age of 26.
Okay.
And as an active duty soldier, we're kind of exposed to a different type of world. It was kind of like worldview. You liked I thought all the kind of intense stuff was cool, but I'm like, oh, but you should be married when you do it, right? Like, as long as it's under the sight of God, everything's fine.
When I was active duty, do you know how much tail I hit?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But yeah, no, I kind of, I don't know, probably kind of like the idea of like a married couple, because it's always like married couples that I got there talking about the weird sex stuff they did.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the idea of a married couple who were like that into each other 10 years into an alien invasion. They're like,
yeah, that is
hey,
pretty cool.
we're still gonna break out the whips and chains, you know, because I mean, yeah, everything's ending, but you know, BDSM's kind of cool, you know, with your wife.
Yeah,
but you know,
I can't argue that.
That's also that a lot of that too was also the idle fantasies of an inexperienced younger man.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I don't really get too much into the sexual stuff that much anymore. In my, you know, and when I first started my writing career, I did more. But also, too, when you're younger, that's kind of 80% of what you think about. So
Yeah.
that kind of seeped into a lot of the writing.
I'm almost 30. I'm 37, 38. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I still think about sex nonstop.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
Old as
you
hell.
can, and Mr. Nipples, you'll understand this too in a couple of years, right? Because there's a professor I heard once who said that at about 28, your life will really start to make sense.
Yeah.
And that is because between the ages of about 14 and 27, the male body is flooded with testosterone, right? Just at an exponential amount. And it kind of starts to peter off at about 27.
Mm.
And so, right around 27, I was like, because I 100% believe it, because right around that age, I was like, oh, I'm remarkably stupid. And these are the reasons why nothing works. And then I just tweaked my life a little bit, and then I was like, oh shit, everything's working now. This is great. Everything I did before, don't do that.
Do you know when you have a massive surge of testosterone again? When you lose 200 pounds.
Fuck yeah, you do.
My numbers
yeah,
are
you
off
do.
the fucking charts.
I bet. And like, you probably feel 20 years younger.
I do. I don't look it though.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll also live 20 years longer too if you drop 200 pounds. And and I bet your wife's like, hey, how you doing?
No, not so much. The chemo's preventing that.
Oh, yeah. That's too bad.
Chemo's kicking her ass, man. It's a. But they finally figured out half what's wrong with her, so they're treating shit. So.
Well, that's good. I'm glad she's getting treatment. That's great.
She got out of bed yesterday. That was huge.
I mean, you never really appreciate what you got until you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, I can't do any of this, and then,
Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, the zombies. Okay, I love the whole amphibite thing, but since I can't really picture the amphibites, and you didn't cover the gloving, and you like stepped around all the really, really interesting shit to tell the core story.
Yeah.
But you like miss some major opportunities.
How so?
Like gloving. Could you imagine if you were to like describe the gloving on the mandatory viewing on TV?
Oh yeah. No, I'll probably get to that in the anthology series actually.
Or if you were to like describe the attack ship from the amphibites, but you didn't actually cover the amphibites.
Yeah. I didn't really want to. It was more. It was very much an allegory for not only our modern times, but it was. I like the idea of it being an alien invasion story where we lost, but there's rebels. But the rebels aren't that great, right? Also, too, like, it kind of plays into my feelings on Star Wars, right? I love Star Wars, don't get me wrong. But, holy crap, the rebels suck so much.
They do. They're actually really shitty if you actually read the books and stuff.
They are the absolute fucking worst, right? Like you watch Last Jedi, right? And I didn't dislike that movie because everyone's like, oh no, there's a Asian girl, or Luke Skywalker is grumpy. I loved grumpy old fuck you Luke Skywalker, right? It was because they should have took Poe Dameron, threw him against the wall, and put a fucking bullet in his head after the first 10 minutes. First of all, after he's like, oh, we're going to kill the attack ships, and then gets the entire bomber fleet destroyed. But throughout every single movie, the rebels can only hold on to a planet for maybe a movie. Maybe one, but probably not. They are terrible. And the Empire, those stormtroopers have fucking dental insurance.
Yeah.
Like the officers have paternity leave, right? Like the trains are running on time. And I'm sorry, man, but if I'm in an intergalactic slugfight like this, I'm gonna go with the winning team here, right? I'm gonna go with the angry guy who's got force powers and will cut me in half with his thoughts. And because it's either that, sometimes you gotta blow up a planet full of space hippies. I understand. But I don't know. I like at the end of Last Jedi, Poe Dameron's like, we're gonna be the spark of freedom that lights the fire of democracy in the galaxy. I'm like, no, you're not. You suck. Everything you touch turns to failure, Poe Dameron. I hate that guy so much. And in Episode 7, they controlled a galaxy for 3 decades, and then a angry 22-year-old shows up and kills everything. They never win.
Can we talk about how, or just like the tactical failures of that movie? Every scene just made me cringe. Like the scene where like they were fighting the what was it, the Juggernaut ship, or just the really big one, with the bomber fleet. Yeah, and then there's like 2 other Star Destroyers just watching this happen. Like as Poe flies through the ship and blows up all the turrets, and the other 2 were just sitting there like, "Oh damn, what a fucking shame that is."
Yeah, what the fuck you gonna do, right?
And then there's the end where they turn around and they warp the fucking they warp the ship back into the fleet, and I'm just like, couldn't you have done that with the first medical ship?
I mean, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna like keep driving until we run out of gas. And then you got Admiral, whatever her name was, who's like, I've got a plan. I'm not going to tell you. You should probably tell people what's going on. Nah, fuck them. Yeah. Go ahead.
I have issues with Star Wars. I do. There's no scientific backing for anything.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's also a story about laser space hippie warrior monk knights. I don't know.
Representation of Nazis and communism.
I mean, they do have the Nazis as the bad guys, so that's good. And yeah, it's got kind of...
Do you know who was a reference point, a person that checked the facts of feasibilities for Star Trek?
Who's that?
Stephen Hawking.
Oh, shit.
No shit.
That's awesome.
That's the difference between, a guy pulling shit out of his ass that kicked his starting partner off the project because he didn't like him anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And a man that got his start because of Lucy Ball that turned to Stephen Hawking. Yeah, you didn't know that Star Trek got started by Lucy Ball?
It was because she owned the network, right? Like with her husband.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she financed it personally.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then they turned to Stephen Hawking for, be a consultant. I mean, that just tells you, there's factual possibilities there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I had no scientific consultants on any of my books, which you can clearly tell with all the science mistakes you pointed to already. Which is why the liberation... Go ahead.
If you ever need reference for any of the stuff that I brought up, there's this series called Life After People.
Oh, yeah.
Great reference point.
I've seen that. No, that's kind of why I stick to just 2 people talking and exploring the human condition, because, that shit's easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having 2 people debate philosophy, that's easy. Science is hard.
Science is hard, but the great thing about the internet now is it makes it possible. It makes it possible to double check things.
That's true.
But yeah, if you ever want a sounding board, I'm more than willing to be a sounding board.
Sure. I'm also lazy. So I'm lazy in all the ways that I'm like, oh, science is boring. I don't want to figure that out. I'm just gonna have them be like, I'm sad about my mom. She died.
But see, you're writing military science fiction.
Yeah.
You know what is a necessity for science fiction, right?
I don't know. Science. Yeah, but it's can you light on science? It's not a textbook.
Fiction is also in the name.
Yes,
there it is.
Dune has a ton of actual actual science put into the prospects of everything it did. And let's face it, Dune is one of the ultimate military science fiction he's ever written.
Well, sure, but that sounds like a lot of work.
It's not though, if you think about it.
I mean, yeah, but like I don't know. I kind of just pull from my own experiences a lot of the time.
I don't blame
Like, what's a good example? Fuck, I can't think of anything right now.
Oh, you asked me to bring up something, and I have to go check my screenshots. Because there's something you asked me to bring up when we got on air.
Oh, I can't think of it. Oh, let's not bring that one up. I know what you're talking about, but let's talk about something else.
Oh, are you embarrassed now?
Well, I don't want to talk about it.
But you told me I had to ask.
Yeah, I changed my mind.
Well, son of a biscuit.
Well, let's talk more about my books then. I mean, like, oh my God, like you're like, hey, come on, we'll talk about all your books. They're like, oh, here's $100,000 too, and your house is paid off. It's. So let's talk about the thing that you're second most interested in the entire world outside of your beautiful fiance who's way out of your league.
Yeah, well, okay. As far as the books go, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to figure out.
What's up?
Okay, so the zombies and the squids are actually tied into the anthology, or are they totally separate?
Where they come from you is a separate story.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of my take on Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Which I thought was a great book. It was
very
well done.
Yeah, I liked Theo Holland's sort of. It's kind of like if Johnny Cash is reading your audiobook for you. It's pretty awesome.
However, I was heartbroken about what happened like right away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Which part?
I don't want to give it away.
Spoilers, man. Give it away.
His wife.
When his dick fell off.
His wife, like right away. His wife. Like.
You mean in the first chapter?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's on the back of the book. Where the dude went to jail because his wife got raped by 3 dudes and he killed them.
Not that.
Oh.
I'm talking about when they're in the store.
In the store.
They're about to go up to go get supplies.
Well, remind me, just what happened, man. I don't remember.
They're walking.
I wrote a lot of...
It's the dude and his wife, and then they're 2 friends.
Yeah.
And they're going up to get supplies. They went through the tunnels and they went up into the store to get supplies, and the army's marching by, and all of a sudden his wife starts acting nuts. And he takes off her head and puts 2 in her chest because. Or no, he doesn't put 2 in her chest. He takes off the head and ties her hands and ships her body off.
Dude, that wasn't his wife.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, dude, his wife lasts the whole book.
That's right. It was a wife's friend, the other guy's friend.
Yeah,
his
it was like
wife.
the wife's and then like his wife's best friend.
But I was like, motherfucker.
He got cold fast. Like, you do not fuck around in the Apocalypse War, man.
Fuck.
Yeah, no, sorry, I had to remember. Like, I wrote that one spring of 2010. We were in Cobb Adder. And, in Iraq. Yeah. A lot of that stuff I wrote early.
So, are you going to tie the zombie... Now, as we covered last time...
Yes.
G.I. Lowe,
yes.
Sergeant Lowe, got into the machine with the people, and they're quote-unquote dead. But I don't believe they're dead. I refuse to accept that.
They're not dead, man.
Well, see...
They've stepped over the rainbow.
That's what I thought.
Now, in fuck it, spoilers, at the end, in the epilogue, the guy says, "Oh, Winston Carmichael died 9 months ago."
Book.
Fuck it.
It's my book. I can spoil it if I want.
It's my book. I can spoil it if I want. I created the publishing company. I can do whatever I want. But at the end of chapter 9 or whatever chapter it was, because I don't remember. He says Winston Carmichael died 10 months ago, right?
Yep.
He didn't, but I guess I implied this a little too deeply because in my head that's what the official story would be, was that, oh, these guys, because they don't want to admit that there's a machine that can go to
Yeah,
different universes and stuff. So they're gonna
tracking
say,
that.
oh, well, the yeah, no, he died, so there's nothing there.
Yeah, see, I totally refuse to accept that. I refuse to believe it. But when they jump, are they going to tie the zombies into the amphibites?
Yes. Where the
Woohoo!
where this goes from here is, and this might take me a while to get there because we're kind of knee deep in the anthology right now. Like we've got 6 anthology stories set in the Liberation of Earth universe that are in various stages of development. But where it goes from here is that uh, at a certain point, the Winston Carmichael from Liberation of Earth and the Winston Carmichael from A Slice of Death will meet up,
Oh, see,
and they will meet
shit.
other Winstons along the way, and that's why I'm calling it the Infinite Winston Saga.
But
Oh
you
damn,
you
that's getting
do
wild.
Yeah.
you do understand Einstein's theory of mass, right?
No.
Okay, it states that
The liberal arts degree.
the same mass cannot occupy the same space at the same time.
I do understand that I like Star Trek, so
Okay. Well,
I'm not too worried about the scientific backing of it, man. I just think it'll be a cool story.
it is. It is. Just don't like have them touch, or you're gonna have people like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I mean, if you read the reviews on Goodreads, some people like dude, people are gonna, if you do anything on the internet.
Somebody's always gonna have an issue.
So yes, I had one guy give once because there was this one book I don't think he
People will
listened
bitch
to.
about anything on the internet.
Pretty much.
Like two left hands on a private. Yep.
I wrote a story once which was kind of an allegory for my Iraq deployment, uh, and it eventually became Veterans of the Bell Round War. And one guy wrote a review that said, because it was basically Iraq but in space 1,000 years from now. There's Burger Kings and stuff, but you're on a space desert planet, right? It's
Yep.
Iraq in space.
Yeah.
And anybody who deployed in that time frame will recognize it. And some guy said, "Oh, this book is stupid. Why would you have a Burger King in the future? It's a waste of time." But he spelled waste, W-A-S-T, period.
Just like the time your English teacher wasted on you.
Pretty much. And you know that was my first 1-star review. And so I kind of see 1-star reviews as a badge of honor. I mean, if you go on Goodreads and look at some of my stuff, people are like, they'll pick it apart for no reason whatsoever. Or people sometimes like to try to read their politics into fiction. And
Yeah.
when the fiction doesn't comply with their politics, they get mad. And which is their right because they're paying customers. And if the check clears, then I am more than glad to hear anybody's opinion. Because
So
I just like money.
we had this situation that happened with a
Yeah.
CW4. Now,
Okay.
the name of said CW4 I will not mention
Okay.
because I want to make sure that we don't get sued.
Fuck.
But
In that case, I have no opinion on anything.
he put a picture of himself up, right?
Yeah.
And I made a joke.
Yeah.
He was in camo. You couldn't actually pick out who his facial features properly because he put his camo on properly.
Yeah.
And I blocked out his name, and I said, "Look, the only thing rarer than a sighting of Bigfoot, a CW4." And this guy went off the fucking wall.
Yeah.
Gave us a negative review, blah blah blah. So I started making memes. He went after one of my admin on his personal page.
What does anyone do at this time other than make memes?
Yeah. Well, he went after one of our admin on his personal page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On his personal account. So I decided to make clown nose memes and put his head on one of those guys wearing the lacy, what are they, onesies or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was lacy onesies and just some crazy shit with a clown nose on.
Yeah.
And he went and complained to one of our previous guests, and then started saying that we're advocating suicide, and I'm like, oh my god. So then the new review he put up was horrible, and he blamed us when
He just
the
was.
fans of the
He just didn't like when the cyberbullying was on the other foot.
yeah. Well, then
This man got memed on.
the fans of the page went after him on his personal account because your account's linked to the review that you put.
Yeah.
And they went after his account. He blamed us.
I mean,
It's like
this all kind of sounds.
If you're gonna be a shitter, you gotta live up to it at least.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. It all kind of sounds like a headache to me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got a lot going on, I guess, but I
No,
don't
your
know.
1-star review it just reminds me of, I guess with your 1-star reviews, for you it's a badge of honor, and for us it's a badge of honor. Don't get me wrong, but it gets handled different ways.
I mean, yeah, and I don't know. Whenever I get ones, I kind of go from Kevin Smith's example, right? I try to follow his example in all things, in terms of creative and building your empire and building your friends around your creativity. And he talks about how when people will sometimes be less than kind to his work. And he just says, listen, because all opinions are valid, right? Because once you finish with it, you put it out there. Yes, you meant something with it, but it can mean something totally different to somebody else. And if they take the time to like for me, right? Because you and me do two different things.
Yeah.
But for me, if someone takes the time to re-listen, whatever, to any of my stuff, and then they want to say, hey, I didn't like this for these 18,000 reasons, right? I will gladly listen because they took the time, and there's nothing more generous than your time that you give somebody, right? There's really nothing that means more than giving somebody your time. And so, like with you, right? Like, and this is, and I am very grateful for all of the reviews and the feedback. There's a couple things, I won't go into specifics, there's a few things about some of my earlier work that you didn't really like as much as my newer work, which is great, and so when you were generous enough to go through my audiobooks and to review them and do all that, and then you can say, yeah, but with this book here, right, like I really love this other book, and this other book was just kind of okay, right? It reminded me a little bit of this book I really like. I'm like, that's okay too,
Yep.
But and I try to. I don't know. My life's pretty good, so it's kind of.
You saw Kiss. It can't be that.
Like everything. What's that?
So you got to see Kiss. It can't be bad.
I got to see Kiss. I'm marrying the love of my life. I get to make money selling art sometimes. I get to do calling podcast shows sometimes. I've got a great job. I live in a great house. My life's everything kind of worked out. Like I didn't think it would, but like if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh God, no, I'm gonna fuck this up really bad. And like I like the swine flu thing. Like that's a funny story now because I owned it, right?
Yep.
That's the sort of thing that if you don't own it, it owns you.
Yes.
So I owned it, and then I figured out how to turn it into it was a funny story, 6 to 8 minutes, right?
Yep.
I could tell people that, and I knew where the funny parts were, and I knew what details to leave out because they weren't as funny. And so, lost my train of thought.
That's all right.
I was going with that. But anyway, no, I try to emulate Kevin. Honestly, I watch every episode of Fat Man on Batman and I got Stitcher Premium just so I could start Smodcast from episode 1 all the way to the end. And I saw Yoga Hosers in person, like in the theaters when he did the thing where he came to Indy in 2016 and talked and then showed the movie and his kid was there. That's a movie for teenage girls, and I'm like, I just love Kevin Smith so much. Good.
I am a fan of Kevin Smith, but Tusk sucked.
I liked it. I like everything the man does.
What was Tusk?
It was the Walrus movie.
Oh, God, that movie is so bad.
Thank you.
Oh, Jesus.
Gentlemen, I must respectfully disagree with you.
That's all right.
It was a swing. And, you know, there's some places you miss, but as long as you swing, hell, that's what's most important.
True. But
I mean,
I can't wait for the sequel of Mallrats.
Oh, I've already got my tickets for Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Well, you know he's making Mallrats too, right?
I think he's got to get, like, I don't know, like he was trying to, but he couldn't get the rights or something.
Well, he owns the rights. He made it.
Oh, well, there you go.
In fact, he now has the only publicly traded and publicly owned film company in the world now.
Oh, that's cool.
In fact, anybody can invest into it, which is an amazing concept.
Oh, yeah, hell, I'm giving that man my money for years. I got to do it for that.
In fact, you know, as investors are getting, you know, you invest $2, you get like a penny back when his projects make money. But the more you invest, the more return you get. Well, anybody can invest into it. It's a thing he's doing, and it's outstanding.
Yeah, well, you know, he's definitely a thinker, man. He's trying to change the world, I guess.
Yeah, he's doing something. He may have turned his back on his best friend, but other than that, you know.
What do you mean?
You know who the godfather of his daughter was, right?
Who?
Ben Affleck.
No, he's friends with Ben Affleck again.
Oh, they're friends again? Okay, because they had a whole meltdown, and there's a thing, and it was insanity, and okay.
No, they're friends again. I mean, I think Affleck, you know, they're in their late 40s. After a while, you're just tired.
Yeah.
And
true.
You kind of wonder what's there to fight about.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what else I want to see? Oh, go ahead.
What's that?
I want to see a sequel to Dogma.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to see Jay and Silent Bob reboot that comes out 2 days before my wedding.
Oh shit.
That's gonna be fun.
You shit.
Yeah, already. Did I tell you about my bachelor party last time I was on?
Nope.
Oh, it was pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't get in trouble at all. It was great. Well, my sister's my best man, right?
Okay.
So it was my sister, my brother, and an old army buddy of mine. That was it. And all we did was we ate sushi, and then we palled around town with different flasks of Firefly peach tea vodka. And then we saw Spider-Man Far From Home, which I was pretty hammered, but I don't think was that great of a movie. But again, I was really drunk. And then we ended the night at a bar at this kind of 1930s speakeasy sort of place. And then I mean, I think I was asleep at 11 p.m. Yeah.
Jeez.
I know, right? What a fucking wild tiger I am these days.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. It was, you know, I mean, I've done all that stuff where you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm in a car. I wasn't in a car when I fell asleep. Uh-oh. Like, I don't know, man. I've done all that stuff already.
I did this thing where I went to Frankfurt with some guys, and I woke up in a ditch in Cologne.
That's not good.
And I had no money left in my account.
One of the guys in my shop told us a story about how he he got drunk in Germany and woke up in France.
I've done that.
That sounds right. I have not had the pleasure of doing that. We had a layover in Germany for I probably spent a grand total of 18 hours spread out over like 4 layovers in Germany, back and forth to Iraq. Like I was there long enough to get a shot glass, and then I was back on the plane. You just breathe it in that clear western air, like, oh, there's no sand in this air at all.
Nevadaism, yeah.
Anyway, boys, it's getting a little bit late on my end. So,
Yeah, we're an hour and 5 minutes now. So
Holy shit!
yeah,
time flies.
Oh,
it
goddamn.
do.
Yeah.
Well, I just gotta put this out there. If you have an issue with this, I don't know if you're still up for this, but if you're listening and you want to hear one of his books, it's gonna be a crapshoot which one he sends you. But if you send Divided by Zero on Facebook,
Divided by
message
zero
them.
books.
Yes, on
You
Facebook.
gotta say divided by zero books, 'cause otherwise it'll pop up into an Austrian rock band.
Okay, Divided by Zero books.
Either
If
way,
you,
you're getting something cool.
So
yeah.
either way, you're getting something cool.
If you hit them up and you send them the code word, you know the code for the free book is Daycare.
Yeah.
You hit them up, they'll send you a code for a random book, and they're all good.
It'll be the Liberation of Earth. That's my
Okay.
latest title. Yeah. That's the one that we're developing right now into the anthology series, and that's the one where we're kind of expanding. Like another one we've got that in the anthology I'm pretty excited about is my editor Cassie. She's writing the perspective from two comfort girls, which is basically a forced prostitution, but it's kind of she's writing it from their perspective, but it's comfort girls that revolt. It's kind of a revolt of the saloon girl Calamity Jane sort of story.
Okay.
Where they're tired of being whores, so they start killing the Johns, that sort of thing. But anyway,
right.
Enough of that though. If you do message Divided by Zero Books at Facebook, you will get a free copy of the audiobook edition of The Liberation of Earth. Available on audible.com.
It's a hell of a listen. I'm telling you, I've heard the whole collection. So
yeah.
Now, anything you want to add to the weekend safety briefing?
I would say, find somebody that thinks differently than you, and then ask them why.
That's a hell of a thing.
And then when you talk to somebody and they think differently, assume that you might be. I like to find arguments that seem wrong to me or seem counter to what I believe in, and then say, oh, what if I was trying to prove this argument, right? And then I'll spend a whole day constructing an argument in favor. And then I might not agree with it at all. And you could run that exercise with somebody else, and it will open your world to amazing possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got.
That's how my politics have completely changed to somewhere in the middle of the two insanities. So.
Yeah. Indeed.
Let's see here. Let's go over the standards. So drink and drive. Don't beat your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever the 7,200 genders are. Don't beat them.
Yeah. Just don't hurt people.
Well, I don't know. If it's that idiot that cuts you off and smashes into you with a freaking shopping cart at Walmart because they're drunk.
I mean, if somebody's nice enough to touch your special area, don't hurt them. If somebody's nice enough to buy you food, don't hurt them.
Don't be Jody. And don't pay a prostitute to wrap you in saran wrap and shit on your chest.
Yeah, don't do that.
Classic.
And, of course, don't be afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you. We all need help. Check in on somebody because you never know who needs help, and you don't want to have that feeling that if only I would have reached out. Because, yeah, it's the last thing you want.
Yeah.
I lost a few friends that way, and it's, I'm telling you, it'll haunt you forever. So.
Yeah, I think we all have. And when that happens, regardless of whoever does it, it is It is a shame, and when somebody does that, we are diminished as a species, as a people, as Americans, regardless of whoever does, for whatever
Yeah,
reason. So,
yeah. It's a permanent solution to something that's seems like it's forever, but it's really something temporary. And
it's a temporary problem. Yeah.
so reach out. We're here. There's some great groups out there like Mission Zero Actual. There's the I Got Your Six. There's American Military Family. There's a group called Legacy of Tier. There's always somebody there that's willing to listen. There's all sorts of groups out there, and just reach out.
Yeah.
Hell, even drinking bros. There's people. I think they got like 3.5 million followers now, and there's always somebody willing to talk.
Yeah.
So, but with that said, it's been great having you back on.
It's been great being on.
So, anything from you, Mr. Nipples?
No, you pretty much covered it.
Nope. Oh, and we got shirts out on Teespring. They got nipples on them.
Oh yeah, go get my shirts.
With that said, I will. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Good night, boys.
Everyone have a good night.